I recently put up a question on Reddit asking people what drumming trends do they think have died either last year or this year, and as Reddit goes, it turns sour very quickly. So instead of people saying what they think has like come and gone, it just turned into people saying what do they hate about drumming in 2025. So in this video, I'm going to just look through a few of these comments and let's just see what they're all about. Ideally, the drummers reacting to vaguely drum related type videos will go. So this guy is obviously saying that he hates drum related videos where people are just reacting. Reaction videos in general are pretty scumbag in their nature. When people just react to things, you're basically just stealing content and then just like you're actually thriving off of work that other people have done. So reaction content just sucks. For the sake of drumming, this just is the worst. I don't think reaction content is great unless someone gives value to it. The ones that do, 66 Samus, his reaction videos are fantastic.
Damn these stubby arms!
But a lot of people, they kind of just put the drum video on there and then they just sit doing this. Like, what's that about, dude? So I agree with this guy. Reaction videos need to go. Putting a bunch of shakers on your hi-hats. So this is a trend that has kind of popped up over the last few years where people are getting really into the different sounds of textures and what textures you can add to your drum kit to make things sound a bit interesting. I think this is a bit of a boomer opinion because like, what's wrong with trying different things in the drums? If you want to put a shaker on your hi-hat and it makes cool sound when you play, that's sparking creativity when you play the drums. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think by saying that that is not cool, you're actually just refusing to adapt with how music is changing and where music is going. You cannot like that, but then just don't do it. And that's you. Like, why get miff at other drummers for trying new things? Imagine if people got miff with Tony Williams for trying to play drums in a different way. Like, jazz would have never developed to what it did become. So I don't agree with this dude. He can just kind of keep his opinion, and I don't follow that. Before we move on in the video, I just need to tell you guys about the most incredible piece of software. It's called Songmaster. Songmaster is basically a tool that allows you to deconstruct songs and separate things and loop things and do a whole bunch of features so that you can aid yourself in practicing or figuring things out when listening to music and you want to break things up. So I'm going to jump onto the app here and just show you how it works a bit. So here we are on Songmaster. What I'm going to do is just drag in a song here, and as I've dragged in the song, it has all these functions that just allow you to do anything. So I'm just going to show you a few of my favorites. One of the best ones is when we go to mixer and we go generate stems, and I will generate all of those. And what it will do is it will separate all the different instrument parts of the song. So the normal song sounds like this. So here we are with all the stems separated. If I play, I can now solo the drums, which is the most important part. And then another fantastic feature is this loop function, where if I want to learn how to play this section here, I can just loop it over and over. And then that just loops. So I've just showed you like 5% of what Songmaster does. If you want to go check it out for yourself, it is software that all musicians can benefit from. And the beauty of it is that you pay once. Something I like really don't enjoy about all these other softwares that help you do the same sort of thing is that they like monthly subscriptions, which I don't want to do that. We're paying for Netflix, we're paying for all these things constantly. I just want to buy something and own it. And that's exactly what this is. So go check out Songmaster. There is a link in the description below this video. Judging by a lot of these comments, I think we're all tired of El Estepario Siberiano. So this is actually a very popular opinion amongst drummers. It's the price of fame. If you get too famous and if you are shown to too many people, a lot of people will start turning on you. El Estepario is, in my opinion, one of the most clever drummers in the world at the moment, and he is one of the most hard-working drummers. The way that oak just sits and practices for hours a day, and he grinds it out, and he is so determined to develop his craft and get better. If he wasn't a drummer, if he was like a golfer, he'd be just as famous for golf. purely based on his drive and determination. And honestly, he's like, if you actually just watch his videos, he's a really cool guy. So when people hate on him, I think that sucks, man. Like I don't agree with that. Maybe his reels where he posts like short form clips and he's doing all these crazy things that are like over dramatized might be a bit much for some people, but him as a drummer and a player, I think he's top quality. And again, I don't agree with this comment. T-tiles on every available drum and cymbal for dampening. So this comes back to that whole shaker thing. There are so many things you can do to a drum kit to change the sound. This guy's saying he hates it when people put tiles on a snare drum to get like a dish sound. If a snare drum just sounds normal and you put a tile on it, it kind of lowers the frequency and then it takes away all of the resonance. So think of Ringo Starr or think of like 60s studio sounds. That's kind of what putting a towel on your snare drum does, and very, very valuable thing to do to your drums. If you take that away, you're limiting what you can actually make as sounds. So that one I don't get. I don't get that. I mean, that got 31 likes. So 31 people agreed that putting tiles on snare drums sucks and that you shouldn't be doing it. So that, I don't know. You do get some supremacists in the drum community that like say no dampening. You just need to have all the resonance on all the toms, all the snare drum, let everything ring. That's how it's supposed to sound, which is true in a way, but put stuff on your drums and make them sound different. It's like fun to try different things. And if you need that sound, you need that sound, and that's how you do it. I've noticed a trend of more drummers using matched grip versus traditional grip. It seemed to have started when Ringo appeared on TV. So this is true. I mean, it's saying this in 2025 is a bit wild because I think all of us have been using matched grip since the 60s and 70s. Everyone used to use match grip because they were playing with snare drums like here. So when drums first started like becoming a thing and drum kits came from marching drums, match grip was just what people were used to. So those drummers were like playing like that. But if the snare drum is now straight, people are realizing you can just play like that with match grip. And the more that people saw people playing like this, the more people started to play like that. Because I grew up playing match grip on the drums, I actually really hated watching drummers use traditional grips because I couldn't relate to that. So if I were to see some cool jazz drummer playing, but I saw him playing like traditional grip, I was like, I don't want to watch that. I'm good. So that's actually a bit childish on my end. But yeah, it is true. Most drummers have started using match grip, but there's like this whole debate on which one's better. Whatever you're comfortable with, like whatever, like actually, if you could use both, you will become a more versatile drummer. So this guy just says it's a trend in 2025 for people to use match grip, but it's actually been a trend since very long ago. There have been significant decreases in Gasker face, but I'm pleasantly surprised where every third hit I make face is really making a case for that spot. So what this guy is talking about, there's actually two aspects of this comment. Number one, Matt Gasker, when he plays drums, he's very emotive in how he plays, and a lot of people do that as well when they play. They're kind of like getting in the zone, but then he's saying that that's kind of like slowed down. And then what he's saying is that now a lot of people in 2025 are playing and then they're getting surprised by like every third hit. So what they're doing is like they're like playing like da 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 doom da 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 doom. Like a lot of people are kind of doing that. But in general, this person is just saying that when drummers play drums, they make certain faces, and that he doesn't like the fact that drummers make faces. If you actually think of a crowd, if a crowd watches a drummer play and the face is just normal, that is boring to watch compared to if you're watching a drummer and the drummer is like really getting into it no matter what face they make. So disagree with this guy, hard disagree. Before I watch, I hope to see these drumming trends die. Number one, angling the cymbals away from you. So this was actually a comment from another post that I did where I was talking about like drumming trends and stuff. A lot of drummers like to do this these days. If I think of pro drummers, it would be like Annika Knowles, Chris Coleman. Those are two good examples. What they do is instead of having the cymbals face like down towards them, they face away so that they basically striking at the edge of the cymbal. I don't get the ergonomics behind that because from what I know, if you place cymbals like that, they are more likely to break. It does look cool, and I would assume that Annika and Chris know what they're doing. They also get free cymbals, so if they break, they'll just get free cymbals. But I think the danger is other drummers like me or anyone that's like learning to play the drums would see that and then think that looks cool and that's what you should try to do, and then they would do it, and then they are directly striking the edges of the cymbals where they shouldn't be, and then their cymbals break. So I kind of agree with this in the fact that These pro drummers do it, but then amateur drummers see that and they try to replicate that appearance, and then they break their cymbals. So I agree with this, Oak. What should die is the EAD10 sound. A lot of videos sound exactly the same, and all of them have very aggressive compression settings. It was a fun sound for a while, but now it's super annoying. I fully agree with this guy as well. So when the Yamaha EAD10 first came out, I thought that is literally the best thing on the planet. The fact that you don't need to learn how to use microphones, you can just plug in one thing on your kit and you can get nice sound, start making social media videos, and you're good to go. I still think that, so the Yamaha EAD10, if you are a new drummer to posting content and you want something easy and affordable, the E8010 is amazing to just start getting stuff out there, and I still recommend it to everyone that asks me. But if you are a drummer who wants to have nice sounding drums and to differentiate yourself from other drummers, using the E8010 is not a good idea, because every drummer that uses the E8010, their drums sound the same. So for example, here's a Zach Grooves video. Here's an Elvis Tapario video. Those were two guys that used the E8010 years ago, and you can see the similarities in how that sounded. And the more people that use E8010s, the more all of our drum kits will sound the same, and the more we'll all just blend into one big blob of drumming content creators that all have the same sounding drums. So Zach and Elvis Tapario eventually moved away from using the E8010, and that's what everyone should do so that it doesn't sound like that. So I agree with this guy. I love the E8010. I think it's a fantastic option to use if you want something easy, but I don't recommend everyone use it because everyone will then sound the same. So what drumming trends do you hate in 2025? Let me know in the comments. I will either fight you or I will agree with you. And if you want to know what drumming trends people think died in 2024, check this video out.